morning, Valley Manor. It's good to see you. It's Wednesday in my world, but could be any day when you watch this video, depending when you see it. Thanks to everybody that's been checking out the stories here on our YouTube channel. Lately, we've got some stories from a new one from Mr. Harrison, and we had Mrs. Tokar drop by with a couple of stories, and Mrs. Raisler. And at the start of this week, Mrs. Featherston from grade 4 posted a story. All of our stories up to that point have been pretty clean stories, and now we got a little bit of Walter the farting dog. And when I saw Mrs. Featherston put that one up there, it made me think of another book, and one that I kind of have a funny story that I'll share at the end, but it's called Good Families Don't by Robert Munsch, and maybe you've seen this one before. It's one of my favorites from Robert Munsch. For some obvious reasons as we take a look at the story here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. We have the long weekend coming up, so hopefully it's nice and we can spend lots of time outdoors with some warmer weather. It's been kind of crazy. We've had some snow lately, even in May, which I guess we live in Saskatchewan. It is to be expected. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Let's get right into Good Families Don't by Robert Munsch. And the pictures are by Alan Daniel. So I hope you enjoy. All right. One night, Carmen walked up the stairs to her bedroom. There, lying on her bed, was a great big purple, green, and yellow fart. Didn't know farts look that way. She ran down the stairs yelling, "Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy, Mommy, Daddy, there's a fart on my bed." Mom and Dad don't look too enthused. "Don't be ridiculous," said her father. "Good families like ours do not have farts." Nevertheless, he walked up the stairs to see what was going on. When he opened the door to the bedroom, the fart jumped on him. He said, "Ach, glock, ah," and he fell right down. After a while, Carmen began to wonder how her father was doing. She crawled up the stairs very slowly, looked over the top step, and saw her father's feet sticking out from underneath the fart. I love how the fart kind of has a mustache there. So Carmen ran downstairs yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, Mommy, there's a fart on top of Daddy." "Don't be ridiculous," said her mother. "Good families like ours do not have farts. What would the neighbors say?" Nevertheless, she went upstairs to see what was going on. She opened the door, and the fart jumped on her. She said, "Ah, arg," and she fell right down. Poor Mom and Dad. Carmen ran to the phone and called the police. Because, yeah, what else are you going to do, right? She said, "Help, help, there's a fart on top of Mummy and Daddy." "Don't be ridiculous," said the police. "Good Canadians do not have farts. What would the Americans say?" Nevertheless, three police drove over to see what was going on. They knocked on the door. Blam, 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 blam. Carmen opened the door and said, "It's upstairs." When the police were halfway up the stairs, the fart started to jump on them. They pulled out their badges and yelled, "Stop!" Think that's going to work? But everybody knows that farts don't listen to cops. It jumped on them. They went, "Ah, arg," and they fell right on down. Carmen decided it was time to leave. She was going to run away completely. She ran through the living room, through the kitchen into the backyard and crashed into her mother's favorite rose bush. Those hurt. They got lots of thorns on those. She got an idea. She picked up the biggest rose and gave it a smell. Carmen held the rose out in front and walked back through the kitchen and into the living room. What do you think's going to happen here? And you can see the sign there, kind of a sign that's in many houses. Home is where the heart is where it should say, and looks like our friend the fart has changed that a little bit. And it's eating Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti. She found the fart hiding behind the piano, eating a can of beans. You know what they say about beans. Carmen walked up and stuck the rose in the fart's nose. And if you don't know what they say about beans, ask your mom and dad. It said, "Ah, what a terrible smell," and it ran out the front door. Funny, the fart had the same reaction to the rose as everybody had to it. Then the mother got off the floor, the father got up off the floor, and the police got up off the floor. They all looked at Carmen and yelled, "That was a fart!" "Don't be ridiculous," said Carmen. "Good families like ours do not have farts." And she walked up the stairs and went to bed. But Carmen's mother stayed up very late that night, working at her sewing machine, and it turned out that sometimes... What do you think she's making there? Sometimes good children do have farts after all. I made a little stuffy. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story. The funny story that I have about this book is at my previous school, we decided as a staff that we were going to act out this story in an assembly with all our students. And we usually did our assemblies in the library, a bit of a smaller school. So we had all of pre-K to grade 6 in the library to watch or listen and watch the story as we acted out. I got volunteered to be the fart in the story. So they dressed me up. I had purple face paint on and a purple wig and kind of a green blanket around me. And started out the performance sitting down on the floor right in front of everybody. And when the dad comes upon the scene, my job is to jump out and get the dad, and not really realizing who and it was so close to me. Kind of a poor setup. I think we had our pre-K students, our 3 and 4 year olds, sitting in that front row, and so for the first part of the play, they just thought there was, somebody under this blanket, and then all of a sudden I have to jump out and purple face and wig and all this stuff and jump onto another one of our male teachers as the dad, and needless to say, it put a fright into those little guys and girls, and there were a few tears and whatnot, and it took many days of me going in and talking to them after that assembly to reassure them that it was just me, that there's nothing to be worried about. But there were still one or two who were always a little leery because they didn't know if that purple and green fart was still in the school. So things to think about, I guess, when you're planning an assembly and you're going to act out. Good families don't. So hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks for stopping by today. Enjoy your long weekend coming up, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.